But your first issue that you talked about, this council did not set that policy that the chief is choosing to enforce. So you've asked, your question was, when will we rescind it? We didn't create that policy. Now, Mr. Oast, legally, do we rescind something that we didn't do, or let's go ahead and deal with this so I can put this to bed, or be able to deal with this?
Well, council adopts the ordinances that they, and I think you'd be stepping into charter problems if you began to direct the police chief how to enforce the ordinances that you enact.
So the chief was is in his legal rights to send this out.
And I'm sure I've seen that letter before, but I need a chance to read it first
All right, let's give you some time to read it, and we'll make sure we issue a first release to kind of deal with this letter, because it deals with enforcement, so we can have that done, so we won't have to deal with that. If it's not, then let's deal with it. I think that's important.
Mayor Bellamy, we've had this issue kind of before with Target or other places that kind of lagged, and it seemed like it was quite effective when you put a time stamp on it at one point. I would ask that maybe we consider that. I think the issue of the letter that's always been confusing for me is whether or not that letter exhibits a change in the policies that are on our books. And if they do, whether or not the chief has the ability to do that. And that is what is confusing for me about this letter.
Bob is going to get back.
When you were going to give us this information.
I've been reading the letter. I don't think that that letter suggests the police are not going to be enforcing the law as it's written.
It says that the trucks parked as far as possible but still block a sidewalk. You can read this right here. The only exception. So he's making an exception to the law. I will not cite a ticket on a large
I don't think that's an exception to the law. I've read the law, and the law allows a reasonable use of the sidewalks by adjacent businesses. That's a reasonable use of the sidewalk by adjacent businesses. I don't think it's a violation.
Okay, let's put it in writing. And as a council, we'll get that back, and we can either adopt it or take that interpretation or get a third interpretation. But you get us the law, you can examine this so we can forever and amen, this is where it is and this is how it is and this is our process, so it's done.
I think it'd be hard pressed to ask people to walk around a truck into the street as a reasonable use of our sidewalks, but
we need a time frame for when they're going to submit their plans, or we're going to go back to Plan B. So if we could get a checkup on that, then that would be great.
Yes, sir. I'd be happy to.
do we set the time frame, or?